Greetings, everyone. Welcome back to Clayton Piano Festival. It's good to see all of your faces again here on the internet. Looking forward to seeing you actually in person sometime soon. But until then, we're going to be committed to bringing you the highest quality events virtually to your own living room. And we're also hoping that, maybe that allows more people to see from different places in the country who may not be able to experience our concerts in person. None of this would have happened without many sponsors who have been very generous this year, despite many financial hardships that have been, plaguing pretty much everyone. But I'd like to name just a few, in particular the town of Clayton, for their generosity in supporting these events. The Johnston County Arts Council for their generous support, and also Hopper Piano Company in Raleigh, who you'll hear from later on in the week, and our two next events, which are on the 22nd and the 24th, so Thursday and Saturday. We'll be talking a little bit more about those later. And lastly, I'd like to thank all the people who have donated, all the private donors, and everyone who's come to our concerts over the years, because really without people being involved and being excited about our events and experiencing them and coming back for more, none of this would be possible. And so thank you all for joining us tonight. We have a really special show for you, which kind of is a unique collaboration that took place from one side of the East Coast to the other. So our main characters in this event are pianist Joey Chang, who is nothing short of a virtuoso and I would say a prodigy pianist. He has a master's degree from Juilliard School in New York City and has played all over the world, classical music, but then decided that, that wasn't difficult enough for him, so he would just give that up and go into completely improvised music, just making music up on the spot. And I think tonight is where his unique gifts really shine, because he has this uncanny ability to capture in sound the essence of the spoken word or some idea. And then the other main focus of the evening is one of the great treasures of North Carolina, and particularly this area of North Carolina, Johnston County, Shelby Stevenson. He's a renowned poet. He has degrees from North Carolina State University, Pittsburgh, and University of Madison in Wisconsin, I think, where he has a doctorate degree. And then he moved back home, which is Benson, North Carolina, where his family has been for generations, and just describes in words, in a like unimaginable way, just the life and the vitality of his story and just the land itself. He's a true lover of words, and I was privileged enough to spend some time with him, filming him, having conversations about music and art and beauty in all things. And he showed me around his old home place, which is called the Plank House in Benson, North Carolina. And so you'll see some of these clips tonight, just some random conversations and also some readings from his writings, and then of course the musical expression by Joey Chang. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you Play My Music Anyhow, a collaboration of poetry and music by Joey Chang and Shelby Stevenson.
Well, I was named for this girl right here, and I've have a poem to her in the book. Shelby Jean Davis. She was known as the Little Mountain sweetheart. And she went up to, she was born in Mount Vernon, Kentucky in 1926 and died just a few years ago. Shelby Jean Davis, and my parents wanted a girl when I came along, and so they named me Shelby, and an uncle said, "Why don't you name him Dean for Dizzy?" My father loved baseball, so he did. Saying, "I need an image to make the world," I went back home and held my eyes on the hill, and it said, "You need a word deeper than I." So I took the old fence rails the lizard ran, and my family's tongue came out of the mouth of Buzzard's branch, the sound of that one story. By the way, that's the name of an actual branch. I fished there when I was growing up on Middle Creek, which is right here. You have crossed it coming from Clayton. And my first little book was called Middle Creek Poems. The sound of that one story everywhere in the marshes and the fields and low grounds. And I said, I think I'm learning I don't have anything to say, but I appreciate the music. I want the words to do something that makes one hear something more than the syllables on the page. I said, "Where is the word that holds all I'm trying to say?" And the cows lowed through their cuds over and over. When I was growing up, Jonathan, Mama made our clothes. So there's me, there's my brother Marshall, a year and 7 days older, those little sunsuits. And that's how it was. My father had 35 dogs in a dog yard right near this house here that I'm standing in. And one day my mother looked at my father and said, "Paul, you spend more money on these dogs than you do on your family." So he had the timber in the woods cut and had that brick house built that's over there. Cross line, I don't know. The woods are lovely. dark and deep. I don't know. And I have promises to keep. But we basically grew up in the woods.
Yeah.
And of course now, tomorrow's October 1. Oh, my mother would slept in there. A cold January, she would get a blanket and wrap me in it, and you know, snuggle up to the stove, and then I'd go to bed. When I was growing up, Jonathan, Mama made our clothes. So there's me, there's my brother Marshall, a year and 7 days older, those little sunsuits. And that's how it was. My father had 35 dogs in a dog yard right near this house here that standing in. And one day my mother looked at my father and said, "Paul, you spend more money on these dogs than you do on your family." So we had the timber in the woods cut and had that brick house built that's over there. Cross the line, I don't know. The woods are lovely, dark and deep. I don't know. And I have promises to keep. But we basically grew up in the woods.
Yeah.
And of course now, tomorrow's October 1. Oh, my mother would slept in there. A cold January, she would get a blanket and wrap me in it, and you know, snuggle up to the stove, and then I'd go to bed. Mabel's World 1. I was 10 years old when Andrew Wyeth painted Christina's World. My mother was 43, in her prime. Her arms and hands were never crippled. She could wring a chicken's neck or outspeak a multitude of talkers just by being herself. She could hold against her breast a jar of butter beans she put up for canning and turn that jar lid off as if it were the top of the world. Then she would hum a song she heard as a child. Will you love me when I am old? One of my favorite things about this house is this door. This is the pantry door. You can see the towels, the wetness wore the... Oh, the closets in this house are the nails, Jonathan. Okay. And that's my father's desk. Old cotton, whatever, sails and things. I put it on a wire. Remember, the thin covering on everything, the sound the red bird brings to the window, the chirp in the hedge. My father took the Schwinn off the 3/4-ton pickup. Paul, my brother, rode it over the yard, the front tire diverted under the truck body, the frame up in the air, and the boys' nostrils plowing the dirt. There was no gang gathered to hoot, only the way back up from the ground. Play the space. If hummingbirds come, the hot days will be prayers. Players, the thought ways will drink to mine eyes on the rook. Perch on the wire above the azalea, pretty bird. Oh, the cuckoo is one who lays clear the sense of being nowhere. We lean back on elbows, saying, we came from there. The will in the wasp, poke in the porky twig. When the pitcher hits the ball, the cow moos her lonely. I want the crash of the door brought back to reveal the empty sun casting its pelt on the ground. The tomb is empty, empty, death's best answer. Blow your winds, you winds, cold and old in the pockets. Bring the rain up out of the damper, tough stuff. My rough faith is real. As the lantern we possum hunted with, you talk about, I mean, who would possum hunt? Well, we did, and we ate the possum. We killed what we ate, and we fished for fishes and ate the fish.
Yeah.
And I wrote a book, Jonathan, Elegies for Small Game.
I do
About three books back, to not get even, but to give back to the little animals we killed and ate. And I have 2 little books on the possum. Our only native marsupial, if anybody
Yeah,
cares.
that's true.
Yeah, the native marsupial has an opposable thumb, 52 teats, we said tits, and could eat an acre of fleas, and is being studied more and more as a cure for Lyme's and other diseases.
Wow.
The lowly possum, and I think will survive because it's so prolific.
Yeah.
You might find one in your house somewhere sometime. Ate the fish.
Yeah.
And I wrote a book, Jonathan, Elegies for Small Game.
I do
About three books back, to not get even, but to give back to the little animals we killed and ate. And I have 2 little books on the possum. Our only native marsupial, if anybody cares.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, the native marsupial has an opposable thumb, 52 teats, we said tits, and could eat an acre of fleas, and is being studied more and more as a cure for Lyme's and other diseases.
Wow.
The lowly possum, and I think will survive because it's so prolific.
Yeah.
You might find one in your house somewhere sometime. And another poet-songwriter I really love his work, is Don Gibson from Shelby. He grew up there, and he wrote "Oh Lonesome Me," "Sweet Dreams" for Patsy Cline, and my favorite one is called "It's Too Soon to Know." It's too soon to know if I can forget her. My heart's been broken in too many pieces, and it's too soon to know. And oh, this is my father's mother's Singer sewing machine. And this is authentic. I looked it up. It's built about 1921 or 2, and it still works. There's the little booklet. And my mother, we had one like this and sold it for $5. And somehow I inherited this and Singer sewing machine with the. And my father, by the way, he would go hunting, and on our Singer, he would put his. And I wrote a poem. It's in there. I don't know if it's a poem or not. It's called Boot Puller. And my father would put his boot between the mount and the wheel to take his boots off. Oh, Jonathan. Oh, Lord. Go out and pick the peas, stake the tomatoes. The Godhead will outlast the groom and the bride. Their stately night, my clear remembered gardened knot, where in paradise does live a glorious height. Glory surrounds me on my run, like a dog off lead, little, short, tall. God, I love them, everyone. Slobbermouth could outrun the Word of God with the Bible tied to his tail. This tale, told in the drool of the cow's cud, or in a dream, a solitary lover sees when he nods to the boy and himself, going to the drive-ins in the little towns, playing games under the neons. Guy wires tighten on the streets, concrete breathes. The doorway wonders if the air will last. When we have been rented down deep inside our hearts, why won't the flame move? Why, when it may be too late, do we stand at the gate in the evening after the cotton has been lifted on the way horse? Why, when the car is in the road forever headed south, does the word romance come from out of the corridors, from behind the big hall mirrors, under the love seats and dens filled with wall-sized glass? Rows of mansions protected like a dumb show. Mencken, R. Baker, Wolfe, Poe. Slung shadows dancing under the projects. A fragile train carrying Zelda. Miles from the inner harbor. What to look for after the old is yellow? I tell you, the art salvaged my life.
Yeah.
No kidding. Oh, I was thinking about Sulu Earnhardt. So in my eighth gradedness, I thought her name, was Zulu, and this lovely woman who drove in. Well, I tell you, the art salvaged my life.
Yeah.
No kidding. Oh, I was thinking about Sulu Earnhardt. So in my eighth gradedness, I thought her name, was Zulu, and this lovely woman who drove in every day. She wrote in my high school annual, Jonathan, Shelby, when I think of you, I think of music. When I see you, I think of music. We feel alike, dash. Music comes first, dash, and last, dash. Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't say it any better. And, and only, it's not been all that long ago, I wondered how she knew that. Words, but she said music. And I thought to myself, but I did not say it. And I wish she were living today so I could say, in my eighth gradedness, that I'm sorry. I thought, when she said, I'll give you lessons for free, I thought maybe piano lessons are for girls and sissies. Isn't that crazy? And so I wrote this long poem to her. Oh, I ready to read a poem to July?
Yeah.
Maybe Pap George was caught, webbed and stuck in the times like one of these grand fall and dangling August spiders, afraid he could not do different, so took Penn's inherited slaves and kept what splendor? A plantation on Paul's Hill, land poor and needing help, he sold July to in-law Seth, a Woodall, kin to Penelope's deceased spouse, Jacob T. My great-great-grandpap George sold July for $413.25. The rest is forged in history, never spent. How long is the one winter's day that runs the history of 3/5, a race toward an evening sun's song, enthrall-raising anthems, altering a captive, this girl who wears economy? For what? The government? You got to do more than tell your story. You got to, you know about this, Joey and Jonathan. You put something extra in there, and it makes itself. In its exploration, an intense and heart-breaking poetic narrative, which in its exploration in historical and personal materials holds affinities to the work of Susan Howe and to James Age's classic, Let Us Now Praise Famous Men. Family Matters, and this is the part which surprised me, and which is accurate and true. Family Matters, of anything writing, Family Matters is a strenuous questioning and exposure of the fictions of ownership, whether of persons or places, graves or farms. I'm pausing. I don't know what that relates, how that relates to things happening today. Certainly. History and monuments, names on buildings at Chapel Hill, Duke, are being renamed in the name of history. Basically, we're all trying to tell a story. I think I'm learning I don't have anything to say, but I appreciate the music. I want the words to do something that makes one hear something more than the syllables on the page. Is piano playing a story? The melody? Beyond the melody?
The melody and all the things that happen to it, you know. You hear a theme or a melody or something, you can put it into pretty much any kind of context, any kind of other context, and it has a totally different meaning.
Mm-hmm. Is piano playing a story? The melody? Beyond the melody?
The melody and all the things that happen to it, you know. You hear a theme or a melody or something, you can put it into pretty much any kind of context, any kind of other context, and it has a totally different meaning.
Mm-hmm. See, we all played music. My father played clawhammer banjo, and if he didn't know many songs, but he'd make them up, just the tunes, you know. I guess I hadn't thought about this, but the improvisation, I grew up that way. Oh, I was talking about the music. The first music I ever heard probably was in the swell above the pulpit. You understand?
Yeah.
And I mean, I never remember a message, but I remember that full dwell of voice. The wood in the flames, a quiet crackle of no hurry, going up and out, moving the dust that settles the ashes, a tune, a far away injury of happiness, a bliss that is hard to empty. Time and space affirm the rhythm, the dimensions of across and around. Wrap a tent around the music and steal away. Images edge the feelings like heels grinding lightly on a board of closest imaginative stances, delighting the reapers in the wheat, the keepers in the creek. The word is another form of dancing. The body moves on the surface just over truth. We live amid the skin. The true art of experience is practiced by the skipper bugs. They skate so well. I clap my hands and the water scoots awake, beating with a new beauty. and the line which begins behind is brought forward. I look back one more time to draw a radiance in language, a radical system, formless and grammatical, mountainous and divine. Mortal as the fertilizing rain, a lingering space that gives the celebration a morning, noon, and night, swallowed up by the dallying and playing world, holding the ancient beard in an avenging dance, a cosmos for jollity. High in the pocket of a farmhouse, I am alone, a laughing moon brightening like an orange on ice.
We were just saying about this concert, like how, you have to get creative when you don't have access to live events, and so you have actually the potential to be more visually creative.
I just say that this, this virtual presentation, which I just experienced, it's way much better than the real festival. So I'm really afraid, guys. I mean, after the pandemic, how the real concerts are going to be presented? I mean, this is you just elevated the level. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Incredible job, Jonathan. I'm really proud of Jonathan, my good friend. Thank you so much for inviting to this festival again. Always happy to be back, in Clayton.
So actually, why are you here? Let's talk about that.
Right. So I'm going to actually perform with you on Thursday. We are going to perform some Rachmaninoff, some music from Central Asia, from the Silk Road, and then, whatever Tobacco Road. So it's going to be a really exciting show.
Yeah,
and
streamed
and then the last
live from Hopper Piano Company too.
Yeah, the amazing,
incredible sponsor.
Yes, thank you to Hopper
incredible
Pianos.
Space too.
Yeah, and pianos are incredible, and thank you for to Hopper people for allowing us to practice there and present this event. So incredible, and it's during the pandemic. I mean, it's unbelievable. Yeah. Guys, I'm going to. I would like to just say something, right? So. We are living in the time when huge organizations like Carnegie Hall, Lincoln Center, they're down. A lot of things are shutting down, and look what this guy is doing for Clayton.
Well, it's not just me; it's a lot of people.
Well, and the board and the sponsors and people who are around us. You guys are doing an incredible job, incredible service for the. For the American and international art scene, because it is incredible. It's incredible, and I'm really happy to be part of this again.
And we have to keep it going somehow. And I think, in a lot of ways, it's up to smaller organizations now to lead the charge and try different things and be more creative. And so I'm very grateful to everyone who's supported us this year. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Should people give money?
Oh yeah, obviously, guys. You don't want Silicon Valley to steal.
No, you don't want that at all. No.
So
I don't want it.
Yeah, so please support Jonathan. I mean, he's making this town.
Support Clayton Piano Festival.
Right.
Yeah.
And Clayton Piano Festival and Jonathan.
Yeah.
But I think, I just, when I was watching the video you created with Joy, phenomenal music. I just love it. I think that you'll be a star. And
yeah.
I think you should try Hollywood. I think you would be the number one there.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's the music is so.
Especially that last piece. Just when I heard that for the first time, it's actually Azza was one who recorded Joey, and so you're kind of a co-collaborator in this project too.
Yes, I'm very proud of this fact. So we met with Joey in person, and we were wearing masks, and we spent a nice time, and I'm really happy that I helped. With that, and music is incredible. Joy, bravo.
Yeah, when I heard that last piece for the first time, I was just like, wow, this is, and so I knew that was the one that had to be the short film soundtrack, so he really captured the essence of the writing and the place, even though Joey hasn't actually been there. So so the way it worked is I recorded the interviews and all the reminiscences and sent those videos to him, and then Joey looked at them and composed music basically based on whatever he liked out of the many hours of video footage that I sent. So
and what a poetry.
Yeah, it's incredible.
It is incredible, and
so full of life, and
he lives here.
Yeah.
And it tells that Clayton is not that small town, because if you have talents of that size, it's not small anymore.
There's a quote from him. It's in a lot of the footage that I shot, but where he says, "You can't go like a mile in North Carolina without running into a writer," or something like that. Right. But it's kind of true. There are a lot of them around here, but I think Shelby is definitely the nearest and dearest to my heart. He captures the essence of this.
Is he watching? Is he watching the?
I think so. Game? I think so. I wasn't great about reminding him when it was, but he'll see it if he's not watching right now. So.
Yeah, great show and great content. Congratulations with the opening of your 9th virtual season.
Thanks.
And I'm really proud of you and your board that you guys are pulling this together during the pandemic. I mean, this is unbelievable, and it's on behalf of this beautiful town and beautiful community, so incredible.
Yeah. So we have 2 more concerts. One on Thursday evening at 8. They're both at 8. So Thursday and Saturday at 8 p.m. And they'll be on all our channels that you saw tonight. Hopefully there won't be delays like tonight. I don't know what happened, but this video will also be available like uninterrupted eventually on our YouTube channel. So you'll be able to watch it again.
Right. I think that's a big advantage of what you're doing, because I want to watch the game, right?
Yeah.
And because it's such unique content, even though we had several interruptions, it's all fine. It will be available on your YouTube and your website, so we can watch it again and share and use it as an example for other projects we're doing.
Yeah, and if you valued tonight's performances and all the work that went into this, which was a lot, I can tell you. Then I know not many people have a lot of money to give, but if you can maybe spare $10 for a virtual ticket, since we're providing these for free to anyone who wants to watch. So
I'm going to give you $10.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. Take that out of your check. Yes. Well, it's great being with you all this evening, and I hope to see you on Thursday and Saturday for our special concerts. So
see you soon, guys.
Yeah. Thanks for being here.